Greetings and welcome! In this video, we will explore one of the greatest achievements in literature, Don Quixote by Miguel de... By the end, you will have a good understanding of the story, its central idea, and the fabulous journey of both the author and his amazing characters. This novel is often described as the first modern novel. Don Quixote holds a special place in Western culture. It has been translated into countless languages and read by more than 50 million people across the globe. The themes Cervantes weaves into this masterpiece are timeless. The clash between idealism and realism, the struggle between truth and deception, the thin line dividing sanity from madness, and the eternal pull of love and heroism. To understand the novel, it helps to know something about its creator. Miguel de Cervantes, born in 1547, is considered the greatest writer in the Spanish language and one of the pioneers of the modern novel. His personal life was as dramatic as the fiction he produced. At the age of 17, he left Spain and traveled to Italy. Soon, he joined the Italian Navy and fought in the famous Battle of Lepanto against the Ottoman Empire in 1571. The battle changed his life forever. He was gravely injured and permanently lost the use of his left hand. Despite this disability, he continued serving with the Spanish army and earned recognition for bravery. While serving, Cervantes was captured by pirates on his way home from Naples and sold into slavery in Algiers. For 5 years, he lived as a prisoner until his family, with the help of the Trinitarian friars, managed to pay ransom for his freedom. Some accounts suggest he used money inherited from his father to help secure his release. Back in Spain, Cervantes struggled financially, disabled and without steady income. He took odd jobs, including work as a tax collector. During this period, he began to pursue writing. His early attempt, a novel called La Galatea, did not earn success. He wrote many plays, but only to have survived. For decades, Cervantes lived in relative obscurity. That changed dramatically in 1605, when he published the first part of Don Quixote. The book was an immediate success across Europe. It brought Cervantes recognition, modest financial security, and literary immortality. 10 years later, in 1615, he released the second part, only a year before his death. Together, the two volumes formed a full epic tale. The protagonist of the novel is Alonso Quixano, a middle-aged man from Le Mans, obsessed with stories of knights, damsels, and heroic quests. He spends so much time reading books of chivalry that he begins to lose touch with reality. Convinced that the world still needs knights-errant, he reinvents himself as Don Quixote of La Mancha, determined to live out the ideals of medieval heroism. He dusts off an old suit of armor, renames his tired horse, Rosin, and chooses a local farm girl as the object of his devotion, calling her Dulcinea del Toboso, though she has no idea of his admiration. With imagination as his guide, Don Quixote sets off on a series of adventures, which are often comic, tragic, and absurd. One of his first stops is an inn, which he believes to be a castle. He treats prostitutes as noble ladies and persuades the innkeeper to knight him in a mock ceremony. Later, he attempts to free a young servant named Andres from his cruel master. Though Don Quixote insists the master pay the boy fairly, as soon as the knight rides off, the master beats the boy even harder. In another misadventure, Don Quixote confronts merchants who refuse to declare Dulcinea the most beautiful woman in the world. He attacks them to defend her honor, but is beaten and left unconscious. A neighbor eventually carries him home. Alarmed, his niece, a priest, and a barber burn most of his chivalric books, blaming them for his madness. They tell him a wizard spirited them away, but Don Quixote's spirit is not broken. After recovering, he convinces a poor farmer, Sancho Panza, to become his squire by promising him the reward of governing an island one day. Loyal but practical, Sancho accompanies him, riding his donkey, and together they set out on more adventures. Among their encounters are two friars traveling with a lady in a carriage whom Don Quixote mistakes for captors. He attacks them, creating chaos. They later join a funeral for a shepherd student who had abandoned his studies for love. Don Quixote delivers a speech defending Marcella, the woman accused of causing the man's death, praising her right to independence. Perhaps one of the most famous incidents is when Rocinante wanders among other horses, leading to a brawl. Don Quixote and Sancho are badly beaten when they try to defend him. Later, in mistaken identities and Don Quixote's delusions lead to a violent scuffle that leaves everyone bruised. Eventually, authorities, with the help of the priest and barber, capture Don Quixote to spare him. Prison. They trick him into believing he is under a magical enchantment. They place him in a cage and transport him home, where he imagines it part of a great prophecy. This concludes the first part of the novel. A decade later, Cervantes returned with a continuation. The second book explores even deeper the consequences of Don Quixote's fantasies. By this time, he and Sancho are well known. People they meet often mock them or trick them for entertainment. Among the most elaborate pranks are those devised by a duke and duchess who stage fake adventures to amuse themselves at Don Quixote's expense. Eventually, Don Quixote travels to Barcelona, where his illusions are further shattered by ridicule. His friends, concerned for his safety, hatch a plan to cure him. A young scholar, Sancho Carrasco, disguises himself as a knight and challenges Don Quixote to a duel. Upon losing, Don Quixote is forced to abandon knight-errantry for a year and return home. The defeat devastates him. His health declines, and he becomes deeply depressed. Finally, on his deathbed, Don Quixote regains clarity. Rejecting the fantasies that once ruled him, he acknowledges the harm his delusions caused. In his will, he names his niece as heir, but with one unusual condition. She must never marry a man who reads chivalric romances. Shortly after, he dies, leaving behind a legacy that transcends fiction. Cervantes created more than just an amusing tale. He gave the world a mirror. Don Quixote embodies the human struggle between dreams and reality. His foolishness makes us laugh, but his courage, loyalty, and pursuit of higher ideals inspire admiration. Sancho Panza, with his down-to-earth wisdom, represents common sense, balancing wild imagination. Even today, Don Quixote challenges readers to reflect. Is it better to see the world as it is, or to see it as it should be? Perhaps both are necessary. The novel's blend of humor, tragedy, philosophy, and satire ensures its place as one of the most significant works ever written. This brings us to the end of our journey through Cervantes' masterpiece. Don Quixote remains a story not just about knights and squires, but about humanity itself, our dreams, our flaws, and our endless search for meaning.